care of our son, Pietro.
Sonia, don't!
Paolo, I'm sorry.
No.
I have to go.
No. Sonia!
Sonia. Can it really be 10 years already? Pietro, tomorrow is your 10th birthday. 10 years since your mother. Oh, Sonia.
10 years ago, Popolo Croix was turned into an icy wasteland, covered in snow, and whipped by chilly winds. This horrible change was caused by the ice demon who came from the land of ice. The ice demon attacked Popolo Croix, along with his 4 evil wizards. The people of Popolo Croix did not have the power to stop them, and they began to give up hope. Then, one day, a beautiful dragon came down from the heavens to protect Popolo Croix. The ice demon and the dragon fought day after day for many weeks, until finally the ice demon was defeated. But when the ice demon fell into the world of darkness, he took the dragon with him. Time has passed, and in peaceful Popolo Croix, King Paolo's son, Pietro, is celebrating his 10th birthday. The people of Popolo Croix have put on a wonderful celebration for Pietro, and many well-wishers have sent him cards and gifts, but for some reason, Pietro still seems lonely.
So the name of the game is Popolo Croix, and it's interesting because it's a combination of 2 words. Popolo, an Italian word meaning people, and Croix, a French word meaning believe. So people believe. It really sets with the theme of the game too, because it can get kind of preachy with this friend theme and the believing theme. Anyway, when these 2 words come together, it's the name of the kingdom in which King Paolo and his son Pietro live. Now this small country with this interesting history has been the setting for the RPG games released only in Japan. But Popolo Croix is finally available in Western markets in the form of, the PSP UMD. What Popolo Croix is, in essence, is a combination of the first 2 Popolo games that were only released in Japan, and an additional brand new story adventure. So Popolo Croix is actually 3 games in 1. Now these 3 adventures all focus on Prince Pietro and his quests. The first quest involves fighting against an ice demon to rescue his mother's soul. The second adventure is about King Paolo turning into an evil Dark Lion King, and Pietro's efforts to turn him back. The third story is the longest, separated into 3 parts actually, narrating a story of an exiled goddess who wants a revenge on her father and on the world. The stories are very charming and very enjoyable, especially with the cast of characters that are interesting, if not a bit crazy. The anime cutscenes featuring great voice acting doesn't hurt the storytelling either. The stories are definitely the best thing about the game, even though it can start off real slow at times. The twists are expected, but there are definitely a handful of heartfelt moments, and with dialogues being simple and short, even the typical sermons you'll find in every JRPG, like believe in your friends, etc., are pretty entertaining. I love that all kinds of different kinds of characters are featured in this game, from dragons to fairies to a technological bandit to samurais. The universe of Popolo Croix is an interesting one, and all the little subplots in it entirely charming. There's some discoveries in there that are pretty interesting and surprising as well. That Pietro's mother is a dragon is no surprise at all, and is revealed to you from the beginning of the game. But the reason Pietro's best friend Narcia wears her pink hat, now that's not so obvious, and that I'm not going to spoil for you guys. Overall, I just want to say that the story of this game is well thought out, and I think it makes perfect sense that there's actually been an anime adaptation to the Popolo Croix game in Japan. However, other than the story, Popolo Croix can be a game hard to chew. While the backgrounds feature beautiful hand-drawn art, the character sprites themselves can get extremely pixelated up close, and just really painful to look at. Also, certain backgrounds like the floating city and the jungles are really well represented, but there are times when the environments are extremely dull. When you enter the world of darkness, and a few chapters after that the snowfields, they're just too plain and too colorless. And it kind of affects the gameplay with the snow levels because it's all white and it's easy to get lost in, but not too big of a complaint. But the biggest huge issue with the graphics are the loading times. Not only are they really, really long, but they're very, very frequent. I mean, we're talking about, talking with the dialogues, that takes loading time. Transitioning from exploration to battle, that takes loading time. From battle sequence back to exploration, that takes loading time. In fact, even doing special moves in a battle requires some loading time. And also, the most annoying thing about it all is that the background music, it becomes totally silent when you initiate a special move. I mean, at least the special moves are usually very short, except for Kemendoji special moves. But yeah, I mean, all these things, you have to be very patient because it's a hard game to chew. Now, the cool thing about Popolo Croix gameplay is that the battles occur exactly where you encounter enemies. Like many other RPGs, the way battles are started is initiated by random encounters. But still, it's really nice to see your immediate environment turn into a battlefield, rather than be taken to a separate battle background. Instead, when random encounter is triggered, the environment turns into a transparent grid, and the characters are engaged in a turn-based battle. The options are simple, featuring attack, item use, special skills, skipping a turn to power up, and fleeing from battle. There's also AI settings so that certain ally characters can be automated to save time, but I don't recommend that because the AI is kinda dumb. Now, the game is really easy though. To get through the toughest battles, the boss battles, all that is required is to skip a turn to power up, and then use special skills on the next turn, and you keep repeating that over and over. And using items to heal yourself, or magic to heal yourself. And since dying results in being respawned to the nearest inn with half the gold missing, there's no reason to fear at all. There's no game overs or death actually. And not to mention the fact that money can be deposited and withdrawn from a piggy bank you always carry with you. I mean, this isn't to say that the game doesn't require any strategy whatsoever, but for most of the game, there's hardly any reason to use strategy at all because you can get through the entire game without it. The game is really that easy. Now, the most frustrating thing about the game isn't the difficulty though, but the fact that a quick and effective means to transport from one place to another doesn't get featured until the very last hour of the entire game. Also, a method to turn off the random encounters doesn't appear until Pietro reaches level 15 or so, and that takes quite a while. And lastly, all this turns into an annoyance when the game constantly requires backtracking long distances, especially on the third story. Now, thus, the game's only saving grace really is its interesting and charming story, and even that may not be enough for many gamers. Simply put, the graphics are awful and are marred by countless and really long loading times. The gameplay can be easy to the point of boredom, and the mechanics become friendly way too slowly. It's a charming game for sure, and it's enjoyable in its ways, but playing this game requires lots and lots of patience. And if you have it, it's great. If not, this is just not your type of game.